Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Hope you are having a good day. Welcome to Hypnotic Rambles, episode 14.
Morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, as Aniko says, and welcome. My name is John, and,
I'm Aniko, and we are
and
here
today,
today to talk about emotional and mental detox as well as kinetic shift, which is an
yeah,
amazing technique, one of our favorite. And we just wanted to talk about it more so you understand it too.
yeah. So it's both one of our favorite techniques. Do you want to describe why it's one of yours?
Because I find it the fastest way to remove a negative emotion and refill it back in with good. And emotional and mental detox is one of those techniques where you don't necessarily specify what emotions you're letting go of, but you are instructing the unconscious to release whatever is there, and it knows exactly what needs to be released. And it's just doing a physical, mental, and emotional declutter. I use that word
Hmm.
too. And I love both because you can straight away see on the person that you're working with the change. That as they are releasing, you can see it on their face, their body language, that they are changing their states. And also the actual kinetic shift is the fastest way, as I said before, to remove for me,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
How about you?
Um, I love them for two different reasons, and emotional detox is one of the most versatile techniques that I've ever come across.
Mm.
Um, as you said, the unconscious knows what it needs to release. And you do it in a way where it's content free, so the person doesn't necessarily have to be talking about it, yet at the same time is actually releasing it. And because they're able to release it in a non-threatening way, in a way that they don't have to relive the stuff, because we're aware of the mind-body connection, which is what a lot of this will actually use, and become trapped in our body. And if there's a source that can release those trapped emotions in a non-threatening way, in a content-free way, then I love it. It also becomes almost like there's an element of disassociation with it because someone isn't right in the moment. It's just a feeling that's been released. They may see an image or whatever, but um, there is an element of disassociation with that. So often I'd use that as a platform to move on to something else. Um,
Yeah.
the other thing that I really like about it is, and this goes back to, say, one of the interviews I would have done for the Irish Hypnotherapy Conference podcast, but when I was talking to, I think it was Kaz Riley, and she was talking about how a client one day reminded her that, um, she goes to have a doctor's checkup and a dentist checkup. Why can't she have an emotional health checkup or a mental health checkup? And emotional detox is absolutely perfect for something like that because what it does is it clears all of those stuff that's gathered over whatever period of time. It just releases them. Um, so even if it can be used as a tool that will allow somebody to clear really deep-rooted trauma or stuff that's, say, the last 6 months that has just accumulated, and it just allows people the freedom to live life with a bit more joy and be more who they really want to be.
Yeah, and also stuff that may not even be ours, because let's not forget that we can pick up energy, feelings from other
Yeah.
people. It's like when you meet someone and you may feel better because they lift you up, but they can actually bring you down too if they are really strongly, filled up with all those negative emotions. And we can pick up um, feelings from people that we don't even know, just walking the
Yeah.
street, which is, I think, another fascinating aspect of this. But what I love about, as you said, the emotional detox is that it clears it out. So we don't know what it is. What did we pick up from that person? We don't know that, but we might feel a little bit differently. And then we may carry that for
Yeah.
days and weeks and months ahead. But if you do this regularly, it just clears out whatever is holding us back, really.
Absolutely. And then when you add kinetic shift to it, which would be the more stubborn stuff, the stuff that necessarily is the mind might need a bit more convincing to let go, probably is probably the way to describe it. Um, but like emotional detox can be done in a number of different rounds. So that's the other thing I suppose to explain about it is that, it doesn't always have to be one go. There can be a couple of different goes, and every time that you let go even deeper stuff all the time. Um, so that by the time you get to something like kinetic shift, you're really only dealing with the deeper stuff.
And more specific, wouldn't you say? So
Very
we are really
specific, yeah.
specifying it, like,
Yeah,
this
it's
is
really,
exactly
yeah,
what we're working on.
yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Um,
but I think again, this helps, kinetic shift helps to not to really live in, but to
it's
just the emotion, no part of it that we
there's
are.
an element of disassociation with it, absolutely, because while you may be experiencing the emotion, you're not actually, you're describing what that emotion feels like rather than actually reliving that particular event. But obviously, like anything, to experience the emotion,
Mm.
it does need to be brought up so that people can experience it, but not in a way where it's like you're right back in the middle of it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. That's why I love it, because there's it's safe. I would like to use that word. Um,
Yeah.
as every time I tell my clients about this technique, and then, obviously I ask permission if they are up for it. Um, and then we do it. They say that when they are experiencing how it's being done, it's so much safer than how
Yeah.
it sounds. And and it's so fast that you have to experience it to know that, you just feel that whatever you feel, and then suddenly it's just gone.
Yeah.
And they're trying to look for it. It's like they can't find
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
it's one of my
Yeah.
favorite techniques, definitely.
It is, and they don't have to be used in together. They can be used separate.
Yes.
That's the other side of it. You don't necessarily have to use one and then use the other. You can just use one in a particular session. You may not need kinetic shift, or you may not need an emotional detox.
Hmm.
It may just be that one session or one includes only one of those two, but most of the time they do tend to go together,
Yeah, yeah,
and they
absolutely.
tend to be a really useful addition to any therapist toolbox.
As well as really helpful for people who have no experience in this field. I think that's the other beauty about it, because for kinetic shifters, you do not need any um, standalone hypnosis, any experience to know hypnosis, because it's just a technique that can be used on its own without an induction to guide
Yeah.
someone into hypnosis. And I think another really cool part of this is that kinetic shift can be used on your own, as in on yourself.
Mhm.
Um, so I have used it on myself, and I just do because I wanted to give it a go. How does it feel if I do it for myself? Very powerful, I have to say, and quick. It's really good. It's a cool way to help yourself or anybody else around you.
It's one of the things as therapists, we often forget to use the tools that we use on others. We forget to use them on ourselves.
Yeah.
um, we do have a whole range of tools, and we were talking earlier. It's one of the things that fascinates me about life as a hypnotherapist is some of the stuff that we see, and it's not a conversation for now, but some of the stuff that we see is so transformational in people's lives in one or two sessions or however many, but in short amount of time that we just forget the wonder that when others look at the stuff that we do are almost in disbelief because, people can change habits that they've had for so long in a heartbeat without
Yeah.
any without any willpower, without any struggle, without any just change it.
But it's
It's almost
because
like
now we
a
know it and we're used to it.
yeah,
It's our everyday experience, isn't it?
yeah,
So we do
yeah,
forget the magic of it.
yeah. And I think that's a separate conversation. But yeah, and maybe that's another podcast down the road when we think about it. Um, because we do forget about it, and we do forget about the power of a lot of the techniques that we have. We forget about that to be able to use them on ourselves, which is also very valuable. You know.
So what's the reason for us to talk about KS and
Well,
emotional detox?
firstly, we wanted to let people be aware of that technique. Many people are. There's loads who aren't. And we'll also be training in it in Dublin on the last weekend in October. And if anybody wants to come join us, whether they're new to it, whether they want to learn it for themselves or to work with their family and friends, or whether they've done something online in the past and they have a qualification online or whatever and want to actually get the physical practice of it, then, please come join us. We'll put the link at the bottom of the
Yes.
podcast.
But I'd like to mention here something very cheeky as well, because what
Go
you
for
can
it.
use this weekend for is to get rid of some, negative emotions yourself. So if you just think about it as a 2 days of therapy for yourself, I think, because that's what I've done when I've done the course years ago. And that 2 days, they were transformational for me because we practiced on each other constantly and we just brought up things that we didn't even think that it was bothering us. And it's like afterwards, the 2 days gone and I felt like so much lighter.
Yes.
Oh, so you can actually use this for that, I think.
That is cheeky, but yeah, that's true. But it's the same.
But yeah, you can use it because
no,
what we do is
absolutely.
practice.
That tends to be one of the side effects, a very positive side effect of training, is that we free ourselves from some of our own crap, just built up over a period of time.
Yeah. So that's we're gonna be in
on the 27th and 28th of October in the Clayton Hotel in Liffey Valley in Dublin.
Yes, so it's the Saturday and Sunday.
Put all the details on the bottom of the page. It's 2 days. We are doing both inductions, kinetic shift, and emotional detox.
Yes, as a bonus, we are going to teach some inductions that will help you to guide other people into hypnosis quite fast. It's really interesting. I think it's a fascinating way. We are going to do our best to teach you 10 inductions. They are all really, really cool techniques.
Absolutely. It's going to be 2 days of fun.
And as well as we're going to do the kinetic shift technique. But also we are going to make sure that this is going to be full 2 days of practice, because without practicing it, without actually understanding the principle of it and how to do it and practicing so you get better, it wouldn't be a proper course or training.
Absolutely. Practice. And when we're finished practicing, we're practicing more.
Some more. Exactly. So I think with that, bring this to a close.
Absolutely.
Very proud of ourselves.
There you go.
30 minutes.
Yeah, we didn't ramble as much today.
We still rambled a bit.
A little bit, but that's all right. It wouldn't be this without it.
Yeah, so for you out there who's listening or watching, feel free to ask about this course or the technique, or you can watch some videos online as well. We both have, I think, videos on this technique, but also we're really happy to answer any questions you may have. So remember, it's for you if you're already an experienced hypnotherapist or any kind of therapist. It is for you if you have no experience with this whatsoever. It is for you if you have already qualified but would like to practice some more, or if you just want to use it for your own purposes that we can. So come and join us and train with us.
Absolutely, and we'd love to see you.
We'd love to see you. So with that, thank you so much for watching and listening, and it's a bye from me.